For as long as I could remember, the house at the end of the street held some mystery. Uninhabited for years, the local kids and parents all knew about its previous occupants and what happened. A young couple moved into the place around 2004. The young wife was upstairs one day when the husband rang the doorbell for some assistance carrying some boxes inside the front door. His wife said, "Coming," but then proceeded to take a tumble down the staircase and broke her neck upon hitting the front door, which was at the base of the stairs, dying instantly. The noise alarmed the husband, who dropped the boxes, and the rest is history. The husband was heartbroken and never spent another night there, leaving some things behind inside the house. As with all juicy tales, there were follow-up stories, and this is where things got weird. Apparently, one day, a UPS worker walked up to the house, mistaking it for the house next door. He rang the doorbell to deliver a package and heard someone say, "Coming." Then a moment later, something hit the door hard. It was late in the afternoon, no lights were on, and dead silence. This alarmed the man, but after asking, "Is anyone there?" a few times, he realized he was at the wrong address and made the correction. He told the neighbor, the real recipient of the package, about what had happened, and was genuinely shocked when he learned that nobody actually lived there anymore. The neighbor said the UPS worker's complexion went from a natural hue to a pure white terror. This just added to the legend. Around Halloween each year, we would have these contests to see who could ring the doorbell, stand there for 2 minutes without getting scared or running away. Nobody ever did it. Well, not until Casey moved into the neighborhood. His father was in the Navy, and Casey was fearless. All the kids looked up to him. When Casey celebrated his first Halloween with us, he accepted the challenge. We watched from across the street. Hell, we were scared. Casey walked up to the house, rang the doorbell. Nothing happened. But then he reached the doorknob and walked in, surprising all of us. "Is he freaking crazy? Dude," I shouted. Casey was now inside the weirdo house. It was dark, but we could see him with his flashlight in the rooms on the second floor. The rest of us looked at each other and said, "Screw it," and ran across the street to join Casey. We get to the house, and right as we open the door, Casey comes tumbling down the stairs and would have hit the door if we weren't standing there holding it open. We picked him up and said, "What the hell happened?" I rang the bell. Someone said come in, so I did," he replied. "But you fell." "Something pushed me. But nobody was up there at all. Not a soul." After several giddy minutes spent making silly faces with my son, I sighed and held him close and smiled. I looked at our reflections in the mirror in awe of the perfect little cherub I was blessed with. "That's my boy," I said matter-of-factly, pointing to my son's reflection while beaming with pride. My reflection flickered momentarily before an unearthly hand stretched out from the glass and plucked my son from my lap.
"No, that is my boy,"
a guttural voice declared. "My best friend has been mean and distant lately, and I don't know why. I've been nothing but a good friend to the very end. It started off with her ignoring my text, so I tried calling her for a while before she blocked my number. As confused as I was, I tried to tell myself that there had to be a good reason for her hurtful actions. So I tried messaging her on Facebook today. Not surprised, she told me to stop messaging her and that this wasn't funny. When I told her that I had no idea what she was talking about and all I wanted to do was fix whatever it was that was wrong, she went crazy stating that this was cruel and a bad joke. I don't know how many times I've told her that the accident wasn't her fault and that I'm scared, lost, and needed her more now than ever. Now she said we're best friends forever. Forever. And I intend to keep it that way. That was whether she likes it or not. I just really need my friend. Being dead is lonely. I'll be making a visit real soon. Then we could be together. Forever.
First, this actually happened to me about 2 weeks ago and may just be a crackhead. I need to inform you that I live in a poor neighborhood. Drugs and crap run rampant. I leave for my bus at 6:30 a.m. and this was like any other day. I turned the corner and crossed the street to the other side of the sidewalk when I saw about 10 to 20 yards in front of me a tall outline was what looked like dancing in a circle on the sidewalk. I thought that was just a drunk guy or a crackhead, so I decided to just wait for him to dance away. I stood there for a good 5 minutes before deciding I would wait for the friend who's home. I was standing there in front until I decided to walk to the bus stop. I waited another minute before the shape looked at me for about 30 seconds and bolted behind a tree. As it stared at me, it gave me the feeling that it was not human. From behind the tree, it leaned over and stuck its head out as if to see if I was still there. Once, twice, then it bolted from behind the tree into an empty plot. I stood there shocked for another minute and a half before my friend walked out the door of his home, shook me, and said, "The hell is wrong with you? What the hell are you doing?" Then I snapped out of it. I walked down the street, and as I walked past the plot, I looked over and saw nothing. There was nowhere it could have gone. To this day, I have no freaking clue what the hell that thing was.
When Mom and Dad bought the house, they thought the scratches on the bedroom doors were from a dog. But when they spoke to the agent, he said the previous owners didn't have one. Mom and Dad replaced the doors, but after the third time, they gave up. As the dog scratches always returned, by the next morning my parents discarded it as something to do with the quality of wood in the area. Dad said he'd order new doors from out of town come the end of the month, but I couldn't wait that long. One night I decided to stay awake and find out the truth. I put off all the lights, laid in bed with a pillow and toward the door, and covered my face with a blanket, leaving a small crack. Things were quiet for the first hour after 12. I thought about going to the bathroom just after 1. If I decided to go and scare the thing away, then I'd waste hours of sleep. I fought against my bladder and waited. At 2, I heard the first noise. It sounded like something being scraped away, as if someone in the next room worked out the wall with a screwdriver. I held my breath and listened. It lasted for 20 minutes, and by that time I knew something was definitely there. My heart pounded in my chest. I felt like running, but I wouldn't be able to live with myself unless I knew the truth. The sound stopped and started in intervals. I thought about checking on my mom and dad, but judging from all the other nights, no one would be hurt. Whatever made the scratches was only interested in the walls. And if I waited long enough, maybe I could catch the culprit. My patience thinned as each minute passed. My bladder throbbed, threatening to burst. I gritted my teeth and squashed my knees together, just after 3 a.m. The sound came again and closer. I could see a shadow moving in the darkness of the hallway. The thing, whatever it was, stopped just steps away. It scraped at Mom and Dad's bedroom door. Then it moved toward mine. I readied my hand for the light. The creature worked at my door, each scratch like chalk on wood. It sounded hungry, as if it devoured the grooves. My heart pounded in my chest, my ears, back of my head. I wanted to move, but fear held me still. The dark thing shifted along my carpet, breathing in between the screeching sound of it scratching the wood. It was now or never. I shot up and flicked on the light, and then cried as I fell back onto my bed. Mom and Dad scraped at my bedroom door, their eyes blank, nails rimmed with blood, and their mouths speaking soundless words. My husband greeted me as I walked through the door today. He had a bouquet of roses, and dinner was waiting on the table. It would have been romantic if I hadn't just arrived home from identifying his body at the morgue. My sister says that Mommy killed her. Mommy says I don't have a sister. Yesterday, my parents told me I was too old for an imaginary friend, and that I had to let her go. They found her body this morning. I woke up to hear knocking on glass. At first I thought it was the window until I heard it coming from the mirror again. I can't sleep, she whispered, crawling into bed with me. I woke up cold, clutching the dress she was buried in. It's been watching me for hours now. Sometimes I catch a glimpse of its reflection on my computer screen, but I dare not turn around. They say practicing smiling in front of the mirror makes you feel happier. I wish my reflection would join along. Put back the mirrors. We miss watching you. Growing up with cats and dogs, I got used to the sounds of scratching at my door while I slept. Now I live alone, and it's much more unsettling. I can't move. I can't breathe. Speaker here, and it's so dark all the time. It's so dark all the time. If I knew it would be this lonely, I would have been cremated instead. My daughter won't stop crying and screaming in the middle of the night. I visit her grave and ask her to stop, but it doesn't help. I begin tucking him into bed and he tells me, "Daddy, check for monsters under my bed." I look underneath for his amusement and I see him, another him, under the bed. staring back at me, quivering and whispering, "Daddy, there's somebody on my bed." The last thing I saw was my alarm clock flashing 12:07 before she pushed her long, rotting nails through my chest, her other hand muffling my screams. I sat bolt upright, relieved. Whew! It was only a dream. But as I saw my alarm clock read 12:06, I heard my closet door creak open. It sat on my shelf with thoughtless porcelain eyes and the prettiest pink doll dress I could find. Why did she have to be born still? Being buried alive was bad enough. Realizing I wasn't alone in my grave was worse. I ignored the sound of my roommate tapping on the door, asking me to let him in. I ignore it as I watch him sleep on the other side of the room. Don't be scared of the monsters. Don't be scared of the monsters. Just look for them. Look to your left. Look to your right. Under your bed. Behind your dresser. In your closet. But never look up. She hates being seen.